Hello Starcraft 2 fans, this is FalconPaladin coming to you with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. This is a game between CranK and Nissa on Terraform, the latter edition. Now those of you who do not know, CranK is a professional Starcraft 2 Korean player, really nice guy, sent me a replay pack so I really appreciate it. His Twitch stream link and YouTube channel link are in the description. I highly encourage you to subscribe and follow him on both of those sites. And let's get right on into it. In the bottom right of Terraform, the latter edition, we have the red Protoss player. It is CranK. And in the top left of Terraform, the latter edition, we have the blue Zerg player. It is actually Barcode, representing Clan Nissa. So this isn't actually Nissa the player, this is Barcode. Okay, so again, if I haven't mentioned this before, CranK plays random on the Legacy of the Void ladder. Protoss is his main race though, so I think he's going to be very, very good in this game. I've cast quite a few games where he goes Terran and Zerg. He's really good with those ones as well, which just tells you how much better I think his Protoss is going to be. Going for the hatchery first here is Barcode. And I just cast a game actually with a Barcode versus CranK, and Barcode was Terran and CranK was Zerg, so this is going to get really confusing really fast if I'm not careful. So it looks like Zerg did go for the hatch first, into Extractor, into Spawning Pool, possibly another hatchery here. No, you don't get the gas if you're going for a 2-hatch or a 3-hatch play against Protoss. Not too smart either. The gas is coming out. That tells me we're definitely going to see an Adept opening, and why not? Adepts are super good in the Legacy of the Void. There goes that Spawning Pool. Cybernetics Core being placed as well. Choosing not to wall off is CranK, being very intelligent that way, recognizing that because this pylon, this little pylon that is so very, very powerful in Legacy of the Void can be overcharged, and the range on this pylon is about this. I'd have to say maybe a little bit bigger, but it protects all the buildings, it protects most of these workers, and the Mothership Core, when she pops out, has enough energy to overcharge 1 pylon and 2 pylons right off the bat. So any lings that come in here, usually not walling off against lings is suicide, but any lings that come in here, a photon overcharge will shut them down fairly quickly unless there are a lot. But I don't see that coming from Barcode here. Barcode is too good a player to waste that much larva on lings that are probably not going to kill the Protoss. So we'll see what's going to go happen here with CranK getting that early Nexus as well. Now this is a little bit open and kind of exposed. The pylon is also far away from it, so lings that come around the backside here will not be covered by overcharge there. I have to say that CranK knows what he's doing. Overlord comes scouting in for Barcode, and a couple lings as well are moving their way across the map for Barcode, our Zerg player. Queens being popped out, obviously, so very, very important to have those queens. This is a patch where the injects are automatic. Not automatic, dang it, they're manual, not automatic. I was thinking don't say automatic, don't say automatic, and then I did. Anyway, they are manual, but you get 4 extra larvae per inject, which means at this level, you're going to be in a really happy position because the injects are going to be good. You're going to get so much extra larvae, be able to get that swarm up and running better than you could when they were automatic injects. And you didn't get nearly as much larva per inject. So doing a full wall off here. Alright, so CranK not walling off here in his main base, but walling off at the front at his natural with an Adept holding the line. The Adept does have 90 shield and 90 hit points as well as +1 armor right out of the gateway. Plus they also 2-shot lings, 10 damage to everything but light units. They do 23 damage to those light with a range of 4. So these lings, you'd think this is a lot of lings, but they're not getting through this wall anytime soon, especially if there's a Mothership Core overhead. Where is that Mothership Core? There has to be one, right? Am I just missing it? Units tab, Mothership Core. Yes, there it is. Why do I not see it? Oh, here it is, over on the edge. It's patrolling, interestingly enough. Alright, so the lings are here. They are speedlings. I don't see any banelings on the way. That might cause a problem, but yep. They see the Adept, and they're like, is there enough of us? Are there enough of us to get through there? And no. Barcode backs out, saying, I wasted a lot of larvae on these lings. The lings need to be active, though, need to be going around the map finding stuff, because guess what? You can find this pylon and kill it. The 16-second warp on this pylon is because it is not touching a Nexus or a warp gate. So that is a bit of a trivia there. Warp gates that are touching a Nexus, or sorry, pylons that are touching Nexus or a warp gate have a 2-second warp in time, which tells you that Blizzard basically wants a defender's advantage here. If the Protoss is being attacked, Blizzard wants them to be able to launch in a bunch of reinforcements very quickly. However, if they're on the offensive, Blizzard would prefer that they not be able to warp in units quite as quickly. The Oracle comes in, trying to go after some of them workers, and it is going to be able to do so. It's taking a lot of queen hits, though, more than it probably wanted to. CranK's Oracle does survive with 3 drone kills. Oh, the queen finished it off, chased it down into this corner. We're warping in some mass Adepts here for CranK, but I guess that is to be expected. They're just really good. They can even hold their own against roaches. You think they wouldn't be able to, but just the roaches don't do enough damage to these guys to really kill them quickly, which is what you want to do if you are the roach-being player there, the Zerg. But here come the Adepts. They're going to try to take down any workers at this third base. There aren't any because it's not done yet, so they move on up and try to see what they can do at the natural. There are queens, there's a spine crawler, there are some Zerglings here as well, but not enough to really deal with this. Moving the wounded Adept back, taking out this, ooh, good transfuse on the spine crawler. That is the focus of the attack though. One Adept does actually fall, and is this enough to force them to retreat? Nope, just regrouping with some extra attempts. Psionic transfer being used. These shades cannot be attacked. They do have vision. They cannot be stopped. Are they going to get into the main base? And they do. They get into the main. They could be canceled, but that did not happen this time. The Lings are chasing. They get killed immediately by those Adepts. This Hydra Queen composition, though, actually fairly effective. The Queens are pretty tanky. If the Hydras can do the damage, they'll be able to take out these Adepts very, very quickly, and they do. The Hydras are light, so they do get about 3 or 4 shot by the Adepts, but that's about it. Some more Adepts back here trying to kill what they can at the same time. The Hydras show up and say, leave our drones alone, you meanies. They're trying to use Sonic Transfer to escape, but I think there are enough Hydras here that is not going to happen. But they're stuck behind the mineral lines, and yes, one does manage to escape, taking out its revenge on more and more of these drones before it too gets killed. So, units lost tab shows 6 drones died to 15 Adepts. Resources lost. Zerg player here has lost about 900 minerals and 150 gas. 1650 minerals and 500 gas have been lost for CranK. So well defended. Getting those Hydras out quickly was a good choice indeed for Barcode. But look at this. The Protoss player is on 3 bases. CranK is feeling very, very strong indeed. This base is finally up for Barcode, but it feels like it's a little bit late. CranK has 62, 63 probes to only 56 drones for the Nissa representative. So this is not looking good at all. Even though Barcode happened to win that battle, I really feel like he did. Oh, losing the workers is also an economic damage problem. I don't know, and supply block now as well. 5 overlords are in production to try to deal with that. An overseer at the same time. We have muscular augments being researched to make those Hydras a little bit faster and have a little bit more range, which is what they definitely need because they are glass cannons, as well as +1 missile attack on the way for Barcode. Already morphing, yep, going Lurkers. Alright, Lurkers are a good unit. They do plus damage to armored, which is what a lot of units for Protoss are, including this Stalker here. This is an armored unit, and it just does so much damage that light units like sentries really don't stand a chance either. Adepts, again, they don't do extra damage when they're attacking Lurkers because they're not considered light units. So Lurkers are pretty good composition against Protoss. I've definitely seen a lot of complaints from Protoss players about Lurkers and how good they are. But again, I've also seen Protoss players go Disruptor and 2-shot those Lurkers and really kind of even the score there. So we'll see if CranK is going to go for Disruptors or not. I don't see anything that tells me he's going to do that. No Disruptors on the field yet. Nothing in production that way. We're actually getting air weapons here, surprisingly enough. Did he cancel that or did that actually finish? Oh no, he's definitely got air weapons because he has a huge Phoenix ball. Alright, so Phoenix... I don't know that Phoenix is fantastic against Hydra Lurker just because Hydras do so well against them, but if you lift them up, then Hydras are super negated. Just depends on how big that Hydra ball is. A big Hydra ball deals with Phoenix very, very well. If it's not big enough, that's a big problem. The Lings are going after this pylon, just kidding, 1 Ling. It's so weird to see 1 Ling, right? Usually you say Zerglings, but nope, the Adept says get away from the pylon. 1 shot and 2 shot. So this Hydra Lurker army is moving along the top section of the map here. We are spreading creep fairly well. Look at this creep spread by Nissa, just beautiful indeed. There's a Warp Prism here with Mischief on its mind, and indeed it is going to warp in some Adepts. Warp Prisms warp in 2 seconds because they are warpy. I don't know what else to tell you. The Lings get a full surround on the Adept. The Hydras finish it off, get that probe and the pylon at the same time. No 4th base for you, CranK. CranK says, I have a pretty big army here. Going Phoenix, Adept, Stalker, Observer. Interesting. So here comes the Warp Prism. Going to try to see what it can do, but there are Hydras ready for it. Oh, they get a surround, and if they can get that Warp Prism, that would be really good as well. All the Adepts die regardless, but that Warp Prism is really the prize, and gets it. Barcode wanted it and picked it up. Adepts moving up here to try to take a 4th one more time. 4th base is now up and running for Barcode at 65 to 75 workers. Barcode really caught up in the economy. He has +2 attack, no armor on these Lurkers, all these Hydras, and picking up more and more Lurkers, throwing down static defense here. Where are those coming from? Where are those spines? I don't know. Knocking down the rocks. and then killing the rocks. So I guess Barcode wanted to be in control of this tower to make sure it could not be locked on him, so he knocked it down and killed it first. And here they come, coming through that tiny little choke area to try to get a good angle against CranK, and yes, here we go. The lurkers are going to try to burrow, and the Hydra is going against those Phoenix. Are there or not? There are. The Phoenix are getting melted, and they do manage to retreat there. They want to get the Observer, or the Overseer as well, but the Overseer trying to hang out in the back here so it doesn't die. The Lurker is moving up to a more offensive position, and they do burrow right here at the third base, taking some cannon shots. They need to burrow. There they go. And they burrow. Cannon instantly dies. Another cannon instantly dies. Triple photon overcharge being used, but the pylons do not last at all. The Hydras come in. The Forge ends up dead as well. This base is just taking so much damage from these Hydralisks. It gets sniped down almost immediately. The Lurkers and Hydras turn their attention to the main base here at the Natural. There are Void Rays in the air, but the Hydras go after them almost immediately. The Adepts trying to do what they can at the same time. Phoenix flying in, lifting up Lurkers, but look at this ground army get decimated. More and more reinforcing Hydras come in from the left side, sniping down Adepts. There is nothing left here for the Protoss army. There are some Phoenix in the air, but the Hydras on the ground make quick work of them. Only 3, only 2 left, and that's it. CranK calls the GG, is defeated, and Barcode is victorious. So holy smokes. Just an amazing all-around game there from Barcode. I'd like to know who that was. If they're playing CranK on the ladder, they must be very, very good indeed. Resources lost tab kind of tells the story here. Barcode lost 5,000 minerals, 3,000 gas, and CranK lost 9,500 minerals and 3,100 gas. So a little bit less gas was lost on the part of CranK, but that mineral count was huge. Units lost here. 40 Adepts died in this game. 13 Phoenix. Couple of Void Rays, some Stalkers, a Warp Prism, 26 Hydras died, and 12 Lurkers. I mean, that's pretty much acceptable losses for Zerg. They're going to want to do that. They want to lose their army and remax and come back and kill you, which is exactly what Barcode did, except for the part where he lost his army. He was just really good the whole time. Macro was up there, got that base up, dealt with the early Adept harass, and macroed his face off to the point that he had the +2 attack on the Lurkers and the Hydras, came in, got a good angle, was able to take down this base very, very quickly, which was going to cripple CranK pretty darn effectively if this game had gone much longer, and the Adepts just weren't able to hang on against the Lurkers, against the Hydras, and that was it. So this has been FalconPaladin with yet another daily Legacy of the Void upload. Thank you so much for watching. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe if you like what you saw and what you heard today. You can also catch me on Twitch, Twitter, and Facebook, all at /FalconPaladin. And until next time, as always, thank you so much for watching, and you take care of yourself.